Hey everybody, this is Manny. I'm trying to redo this voiceover I did. This is me showing my old room when I lived with my friends, and this is my Space Ghost collection. Mostly Space Ghost Coast to Coast / Adult Swim. I was a huge fan at the time, and I still have this stuff. Unfortunately, it's all in boxes in my basement because it's it's just too much of a task right now, and I have to clean everything out, but this is all irrelevant. I'm just going to explain some of the Space Ghost stuff I own. Right there was my Space Ghost poster from Suncoast Video, remember that? Right over there is the Space Ghost Coast to Coast comics. I collected those at the beginning of 2000. My parents found a comic book store that was close by my shopping mall, and they actually were surprised and they gave me some of those as Christmas gifts when I was growing up. So I started my Coast to Coast collection in 1999 because I was wanting to be the man that owned a bunch of Space Ghost stuff. I got that from the Guinness Book of World Records of the person that owns so many Garfield items. I'm sure by this point I don't own the most Space Ghost stuff, but there was a time when I tried, and yeah, there's more comics there. I'm pretty much doing this as a voiceover to re-upload this video because the original video here that I'm shooting is based on a brony video. Like, remember the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic bronies? Well, I made a video making fun of one of the bronies showing all of his pony stuff in the room. And looking back at it, it was the style at the time in 2012, and I didn't mean any malice by it. I just wanted to make a parody of it. But I rewatched it and it's just uncomfortable, so I'm just redoing it. So that's the Space Ghost. You know what? I was really surprised at that Space Ghost ornament. I was working at Belk, which is kind of like a Macy's store in Georgia, and that Space Ghost ornament was like right there, and I'm like, oh my god, that's Space Ghost! I gotta get that. And my good friends David and Amy gave me that Space Ghost Cyber Ghost book, which is awesome. It definitely shows its age, but it gives it a lot of character. Right over here is my Space Ghost watch. I think I didn't have a watch at that time, but my friend Donnie, who I was living with, gave me a watch. So it fit perfectly in that little TV case. And I still have that to this day. Like I said, I still own all this stuff. And I just wanted to show it off. Yeah, I like the fact that it looked like a little TV case. So it makes a nice little prop. Right over here is the Space Ghost Coast to Coast CDs. This was, I think it was a Australian release, but I was able to get my hands on it. Thank you, eBay. And I definitely recognize that face because he was featured on the Coast to Coast Volume 2 DVD, but they censored his face. So all those people, I believe, if I remember correct, were like radio disc jockeys. And of course, the Space Ghost DVDs lately have been collector's items, actually. And they're all in the Adult Swim in a box, which my girlfriend at the time got me that as a Christmas present. There's the infamous Volume 4 and Volume 5. Those are currently out of print, and I'm so happy I own my copy. Oh yeah, and that's the Build Your Own DVD, which I got as a contest winner. So I entered my name in a contest, and I won. So I got to make my own DVD for free. It was really cool. Oh yeah, and I even made a Volume 1 3-ish cover to go with that, which I never printed out because I don't know the exact measurements. Yep, and the Adult Swim promo CD with all the music. I got that signed by the Aqua Teen staff when they were doing a signing of the Volume 4 DVD at, you guessed it, Suncoast Video. So that was really cool. I got to talk to Jay Edwards, who let me visit the studio. And like I said, I lived in Georgia, so Cartoon Network's home base was right there in Atlanta. So it was really cool to go there. I was even talking to Matt Harrigan at the time, which super cool guy. He was really nice to answer my messages and emails, no matter how annoying I probably got. So this is back when I was like 18, 19. And of course, these are the CDs that were released. The Surf and Turf and Musical Barbecue, those were like released. Oh, and the Brack Presents the Brack album were all released throughout the stores, but the Space Ghost Coast to Coast and the Modern Music for Swinging Superheroes were released limitedly, possibly at conventions at the time. That's a 60-piece puzzle, which my mom found at a Rite Aid, I believe. And that Adult Swim notebook, I really liked that. It was really cool. Luckily, I got that on eBay at that time, which I think now would be probably really pricey. I got that out of a library, that Oxford American, and I bought it because I didn't want to return it, so I pretty much paid for it. Because I just wanted to keep that, because I was like, oh my god, that Space Ghost on a magazine, it's awesome. And right there, my friend Mike gave me that. It was a Toy Fair magazine showing all the Adult Swim toys that were coming out. And I make a joke here saying that I think that's Homer Simpson right there. That, of course, underneath was a unrelated Space Ghost thing. It was a dartboard featuring Johnny Depp in the middle. I had disagreements with Johnny Depp at the time. Because basically, they were talking about a Pee Wee Herman movie coming out, possibly. And Tim Burton wanted to get Johnny Depp to play Pee Wee. And I'm like, no way. And of course, that's a promo DVD that came out in Comic-Con 2003. And I was lucky to find that on eBay and get it. I'm amazed it survived too. I still own that. It got passed around through a lot of my friends, and luckily they took good care of it. And right there are the Aqua Teen plushies along with the Space Ghost Beanie Baby, which I got at the Warner Brothers store before they were closing down. And my friend got me that DVD. It's really cool. And as of right now, I have the Blu-ray of the 60s series. But it's good. The 60s series is alright. It's not my favorite, but it's pretty good. And there's another Beanie Baby. There's Meatwad. Like I said, I still have these plushies. It's all in boxes, unfortunately, but hopefully in the future I'll be able to make my man cave in my basement, and I'll be able to display these characters. And the Space Ghost bust, that took a long time to get. I wanted to order it, but I needed to wait for the price to go down, so I got that back in 2005 for $83. My part-time job helped with the payments of that at the time. And I got these at Atlanta Comic-Con, where I first met George Lowe. There's actually a picture of me right there on the left, after I show this, of course. Do I show that? Yeah, I do. Okay. George Lowe wanted to be the fan meeting me. He was really cool, and of course I was freaking out at that time. I tried to be cool, but that was me freaking out. And there's my Coast to Coast action figure collection. His hand was supposed to light up to be a laser, but I think it just didn't work at the time. Again, my girlfriend at the time got me that, along with my parents. I got that Zorak in 2009 at a comic shop, luckily for $17. As of now, that's probably over $100 now. That's the signatures of the Aqua Teen staff that I met at Sunk Coast. They were all very, very nice. And I made that Space Ghost sign out of cardstock. All these sheets right here are just like sheets that you could use for people to sign. That's all. And I was like, "Are these free? Can I take these?" So I just did that. Those two Adult Swim promos were from a couple of websites, and I just printed them out and I just put them on the wall. Again, to go with the superhero phase. I found that in a 1999 magazine of Pokemon, believe it or not. And on top is a present from my buddy Donnie. Gary Owens' signature. And right over here is going to be a 2001 Space Ghost promo printed. It's one of those ink prints. I still have that. It's actually downstairs. And it's one of the coolest things I own. And I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, this was my old room when I lived with my buddies. Yeah, some of that is just my toys. It's the Wienerville printout that I printed out. Oh yeah, and Adult Swim notebook. I got that in 2005 at Comic-Con. So I got that literally at Comic-Con. There's my robot chicken. And the other robot chicken I made says goodbye. Thanks for listening, folks. See ya.